Hello. Hello. There we go. Episode.
Morning.
Hello.
It is not
Hello.
morning, but hello. But this is episode 4. I have made sure to change the title this time. Yay. Where we'll be talking from session 16 onwards for the next hour. We'll see where we get to, but I don't think we'll probably cover too many episodes because I know there's a lot of juicy details that I know probably some of you guys might want to talk about or ask questions to each other. And the thing is, feel free to ask me stuff. Just depending on if it's not a closed case thing, just expect a no comment or I'm not telling you. But if you want to have clarification questions with me or ask things, feel free. Because I know there was some people have asked me independently and stuff. But yeah, so you guys were going to Frosselger to help with the fungal infestation that was causing griping issues there. And the town was essentially running and still working, but there was funeral pyres and pyres of clothes and various furnitures and things of infected people and peoples, infected tools, or at least as what they say, that it was this fungus that was causing people to act crazy and attack each other. So a good example for people for a theatre of the mind is think of Last of Us, but not quite as extreme in terms of visuals. They looked very human still, just off, which we'll get into because you guys very quickly find out some of the symptoms and key pointers. The first port of call was to go to the church.
So Greytail could jump off of it.
Yeah,
right?
so Greytail can jump off of it, but most importantly was to speak to one of the main breakthrough researchers and doctors that had come from Havelter before you guys to work, to try and see if he could find what was causing it, reverse engineer it, and fix it. You encountered the very first guest NPC of the campaign, which was done by Cos D&D, or Adrian, depending if you go by his username or his name, who was running a Lionel.
Ned.
Huh?
Leonid.
I thought it was Lionel.
Nope, Leonid.
Lion person.
Yeah, Lion Man.
Yeah, Lion Man. Called
Be the lion.
My king. Dr. Argyle.
Dr.
by the
Argyle
way,
Pyromane of the Ember Eye Pride.
that was
I
so
do love
funny as
that.
well.
Along
I would
with...
just think that, I don't know about anybody else, but I did not know that there was a guest in the chat.
None of you
No,
did. None of you did. Because basically what it was, I was in a Discord group chat with him, and I was basically and he was watching the stream as well, but I was prepping him with time cues of when I think it'd be best to join, because I didn't want him to join the call too early because you'd notice him. I wanted him to join just ready to speak, just to catch you guys off guard, which to me the timing wasn't like
I
perfect,
think I remember
but it was
correctly.
damn good.
I think two of the other our party members, also was having internet issues that night, and they kept dropping out.
So you guys didn't even pick up
So
on
we
the
didn't
noises.
even know, because there's large dropping out quite often. No one knew that he come in, and that was great, brilliantly well done.
Yeah,
really.
because you guys didn't pay attention to the noise, and then when you all heard this unusual voice, then it took a second after he finished his first sentence, and then you guys were like, wait, what? And he was like, yeah, we're there.
Yep.
Yep.
As Adrian was the doctor that currently had a number of cadavers on the slab, experimenting and dissecting, trying to work stuff out, and he was your first port of call for information on the body's symptoms post-mortem, what symptoms to look for in general, and a lot of the basic information of what you guys were dealing with, which was beautiful, fucking beautiful.
It was actually our second protocol. The first protocol was to go get gloves, if I remember rightly, and face masks.
Yeah, that
We were
is
very
Yeah.
careful.
Yeah,
Third port of call because we went to the inn.
yeah.
Yes, that's true.
As is tradition in every D&D session, when you enter a town, you go to the inn and secure a room. You were also
Wash your
Cass.
hands.
Wash your hands.
You were also Cass. You had one of your better encounters with Miss Penelope at that time as well. you were given a deal that the reward for doing the job that you were there to do, you would forfeit it for an item that was clearly worth way more than she was offering.
Mm-hmm. This happened in...
Yeah, this was in 16, and so because she's said a number of times at different occasions that she's seen and heard things about you guys in like visions and stuff, and she's got good feelings about you. She also at this point as well was heavily flirting with Argyle, massively. She's got a crush on Argyle, good and proper.
I'm sorry, I don't have a question. I don't know if you can tell us, but you just said that she's had visions of us and she's got good feelings. What were those visions? Like, what has she seen?
She hasn't said.
Okay.
But she has said, not directly, but she said it like in conversation that she's had visions of you guys as a party and things to come, but you guys never have probed into it. But that's probably something you can bring up at some point with her.
Yeah, will do. It was just when you mentioned it, I was like...
The reason why I said it there was because she said it 3 times individually. Once at that time, she said it to Boomer alone, and in session 26, she said it to Evan. She said it on 3 separate occasions. Yeah.
I don't remember her saying it, so...
Yeah, she said she's seen things about you guys. And because when it was basically asking where her loyalties lie, sort of thing. But
it'd be interesting to find out what it is she's seen.
But yeah, you were given a sensor that was reminiscent of a flail as well, that had the ability to heal through activation, like all your allies in range. Pretty fucking nifty.
And I've not used it once.
But yeah, that's because you're terrified of accidentally healing enemies. That's the problem.
Exactly.
But yeah,
and also the fact that Cass took it because it's a healing item, and like, oh yeah, I'll take it because it's a healing item, but it's also got an extra D8 of radiant damage on it.
But the point where I've not used it though, so a little bit of mechanical info. Cass has got a -1 to her strength. I think I might need to give it to somebody else.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll work. I think it's going to go to Evan.
Yeah, I thought that's where it was going in the first place, and then he went, "Oh, I'll have it."
To be fair, it was given from Penelope with Cass in mind because of the healing properties of it more than the damage capability. When Penelope handed it, I can't remember if she said specifically or it was more hinted, but it was, in theory, more likely to be given to Cass, but it was kind of given to the group.
Well, I do think Cass is going to give it to Evan, though.
Yeah.
And also get Boomer to make one of those necklaces of non-detection, because the mind ring kind of scares her a bit. But we'll get into that later. Now I found out that mind ring captures your soul. That's not great.
I'm about to say, I knew that was a bad idea the second you... Well,
why didn't you stop it then, Michael?
Evan didn't know.
Well, before I haven't built the rings yet, so.
But yeah,
you built the first ring.
You built the first ring, but we might switch them over to the amulets instead. We'll talk about it in the second.
But yeah, you found out that this plague was a fungal plague that basically it grew inside the body and choked the person, and once dead, kind of controlled them like a puppet. And
well, this is it, because Dr. Argyle showed us, the autopsies that he'd done.
Yeah, and where,
the dead.
Yeah, where, there was a person that was chest opened, and, the lungs were just full of a pure white fungus. It was unnaturally white. It was clearly not normal. And, essentially this fungus controlled them like puppets until the body was no longer capable. And
so Cass did speak with Dad on the guy and found out that there's some force. I believe it was south.
Yes.
From where we were.
And this particular person you spoke with was a lumberjack as well, and he thinks thought he contracted it while working there.
Yeah, which gave us this is where we need to go next.
Yeah.
This way, arrow.
So we went to the lumberjacks area. Well, and as we were traveling, we ended up fighting
Not quite at that point, because Argyle...
Yes, there was a fight with a tree.
Yeah.
Because there was fights going on, so we went and fought against an
Two
infected
weeping
tree.
treants.
Yep.
That
Fought those.
that
beat those.
yeah, they hurt a lot. It's funny because the
Well,
next
yeah,
two
they
major,
hurt,
I didn't mean it, but because they fit so perfectly thematically, that's why they were in. But that encounter and the next one, both of the creatures did damage on melee contact, and there's a monk in the party. It was almost as if I didn't mean it like it,
It was just a
but
monk, though. It was the
I pretty much countered the monk for 2 combats and didn't mean it, but because I pick creatures based on thematics and what fits more than anything, and then adjust the stats to a fair level. And it was like when midway through the second encounter, which again we'll get to in a minute, after the weeping treants, it was like I feel really bad for Matt, just a little bit. But to be fair, you did do some epic moments in the second fight.
Did you not mean that?
There was multiple people. Everyone was getting hurt, and
No, but I'm thinking
really?
because the
Yeah.
Matt's character Greytail was literally a monk punching. At least with things like Evan had a glaive, so he could attack from a slightly longer range.
Yeah.
I think it was more Deer. Deer went running into it as well after the monk had got damaged,
Yeah.
and we were like, "It's
Yeah.
on melee combat. What? You could. Oh, okay, Deer. Okay."
Yeah, but
Fighting the tree.
But yeah,
Creating some explosives, like chucking things.
Yes, Molotovs and Alchemist Fire.
yeah,
I've
that was
still got
fun.
most of.
Yeah. And we'll be making some more
But
for
yeah,
you.
after that fight, you guys needed to rest because I think some of you particularly took a lot of damage.
No, we went straight on.
Oh, was you good?
Yeah.
Because I know you guys, no, because you guys did stay the night in the town after that.
People started healing because she had quite a few
yes.
kills at that point because we didn't rest. I don't think we did anyway. We might have
No,
done,
you
but
did.
I don't think we
You
did.
did.
But
You did,
we went
because-
on to the lumberjack camp.
No, that was the next day because this is why I was going to get onto it.
No,
Because
we
in
didn't go
We
the
had
next.
to buy new clothes, if I remember rightly. Was that after when we got back?
Yeah.
the reason why I
We
know
went,
100% you went the day after was because it was in the tavern on the night was when Argyle suggested going and consulting.
Clarissa.
Yeah, and that was to be done the next day.
And he made us
Yeah.
sound like the worst person we were going to meet, by the way.
I mean,
Well,
you
we
literally
ne-
were.
No, the thing is though, we never went to the lumberjack camp after meeting Clarissa.
No, you was. You were in the lumberjack camp. That was where she was shacked up.
Really? Because I thought she was just, outside of it.
She was just outside of where the buildings of the lumberjack camp was, but she was in a clearing of where trees had been cut down.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Oh, I didn't get that either. I knew we weren't there. We were just
On the
outside of it. I
on
think.
the battle map, 90% of the trees were tree stump markers because it was where a clearing had been made from the lumberjacks.
Mhm.
And that was also where the runes were, because when you went and met this evil, horrific Clarissa that you were warned not to look her in the eyes, don't listen to her for too long or she may do some weird voodoo on you, turned out to be this spry, young, very loud, very excitable, slightly annoying satyr.
She was
I'm
quite
not-
annoying, though.
Well done, Danny. Well done. I'm so proud of you.
I purposely had to stop and think for a second because I knew I was waiting.
I was there, ready
Right.
and waiting with the comment.
Yeah,
of, she's not comedy.
I fucking know. That's why I stopped talking for a second to think.
As well, whilst we're here, at this point, as soon as we met Clarissa and she seemed to be this nice, bubbly girl, I immediately thought he's in love with her. Because why else would you say to somebody, don't look her in the eyes, she can enchant you, and, she can do weird voodoo. Then when you meet her as this, bubbly person, and you're like, oh, he's got a massive crush on her. That's what you would think, right?
No. I got the general opinion of, they were rivals. They were rivals. They didn't get on. That was it. I never.
If someone says to you, don't look her in the eye, she'll enchant you and do voodoo on you and do all this kind of stuff. It kind of sounds a bit romantic.
No. I
Not
never,
really.
even the entire time everyone
Am
else
I
was
really reading romance into this? What?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
were the only one.
And then we went
I-
along with it because it was
I-
funny.
Yeah, for the longest time I did.
Oh,
It was only it was that
Your
end.
boy toys.
Let's say
God,
it was the
romance.
end.
Smashing you in the face.
No, it was the end scene. The end scene where we'll get to that point eventually. But it was when Argyle just said, "You run." It's like, okay, I think he's fine. I think they finally got tired of us telling them, you two are going to get together. They're going to go with the story.
I'm sorry, have you not seen any romantic comedies, any movies or TV shows where there's a romance going on? Like, it's
Yes.
101. Like, how
Yes,
do you
and I've had
it?
I've also had a very clear several times where I've seen two people and have gone, they're going to be together. They did not have that at the beginning. At all.
It's the typical hate-love romance. They're rivals, but then secretly they want to do it. Like, oh my god!
The problem is,
Wow.
don't forget when we got to see Clarissa, it was Argyle who destroyed all her wards.
By
Or
accident.
destroyed
No,
the ward.
that was completely by accident
No,
because
it wasn't. He went over there and scratched it off.
no, he was
Who
high.
wrote that?
No, Cass actually saw it because of her high perception. He was semi-cowering behind a tree stump because he was really nervous and off-put by her. Claws come out reactively, and there was a ward on the tree stump that one of his claws went through. He was his eyes were completely on Clarissa. He didn't even know there was a rune on it.
Nervous because the girl he was in love with, that's meant to be his rival, was standing right there.
Actually,
Like,
I think it was more because the giant fucking tree had just been summoned.
I've got to say, like,
Oh yeah,
that you
Gustav.
must have so many times where girls have tried to ask you guys out and you've just been oblivious and missed it. Like, Jesus Christ! It was so obvious.
It really wasn't.
It really wasn't.
I can't believe this is. Oh, I feel sorry for Rose.
I'm still steadfast, and I feel sorry for the guys that he didn't get it because that means a lot.
I mean, to be
Like,
fair,
you
I
can
know
put
the
it
I know the real
right.
answer. I know the
Well-
real answer because I worked on their characters with them.
Tell us.
No, fucking because that's not finished yet. That's nowhere near finished
No,
yet.
like now you must. It was just. Oh my god! Like, I'm sorry, but they were rivals in school. Like, this is so many fan fictions. Like, literally, Jesus Christ, guys. Read a romance book. You'll learn all about it.
Well, I'm sure those who are watching in the comments section, if they've seen the episode or are just hearing this argument, let us know. Let's get some extra opinions on it. Fuck it, why not?
I've never watched Princess and the Frog, of course, yet. But today, once to sleep with the prince. I never
I'm
thought
sorry,
that.
what was that?
Oh no.
I was in Princess and the Frog. I never thought I was off this plane into the, I was turning to the frog, because he likes him.
Oh God. Yeah. There's always one, isn't there?
What's you going to turn into then?
Oh.
I'll be there.
Wait a minute, can you repeat that one more time for me, Liam? I think my brain deleted it as you were talking. I don't know.
Liam was too quiet and everybody laughed over it
Wait a minute.
Please, Liam, just once more.
with feeling.
In Princess and the Frog, Dr. Today doesn't try to sleep with the prince, does he? Doing the voodoo. No, voodoo is not love, it's just voodoo.
God.
I still can't hear what he's saying, so
Saying, if the Princess and the Frog, the guy, Dr. Facility, doesn't try to sleep with the prince. It's just voodoo.
Voodoo. Yeah.
yeah, Liam, you've missed not only the mark, you've missed all the other ones on the range with that one.
Yeah.
So have you had the birds and the bees talk yet?
Yeah.
I was about to say, have you had your medication for the day?
I can't sleep at the moment.
I get where Liam's coming from because it was like the voodoo comment I think at the beginning.
Yeah.
But my point is, so if somebody says, "Oh, she's enchanting," I'm not going to say that
An
word
enchantress.
right. Enchanting, and you need to watch out for her. She's the worst of the worst. She's his big rival in school. She's not to be trusted. And then when you meet her, she's this upbeat, lovely, quite sweet.
She
A
also,
bit loud.
she also did try and
A
feed
bit
you
loud.
those drugs.
I ate that, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
No, I'm on
but-
about the point where
what
she
it-
just
what it-
offered them.
Someone is enchanting. That usually means that they are romantically interested in them.
No, that sounds like he's a nerd and she's the popular girl.
Yeah.
Which is the beginning of literally so many books and TV
No.
shows. Like,
Yes, and it's also most likely a very good bullying thing.
He was a boy, she was a
Oh,
He
girl.
was a bit-
I'm
Can I
sorry,
make it any more
feeling like
obvious?
people's actual relationships. I think we need to move away from this. Like I'm getting, I feel like I need to give you guys some support. I'm a weak woman. I gotta tell you, yeah, she's interesting. Look, I'm sorry, it's just I don't know how nobody else saw it. Like, am I literally seeing things that weren't there, or like Danny, agree with me? Like here, if you saw that from an outset, I need to know that I'm not losing my mind.
I'm gonna stay out of this. This is gold.
Danny knew the answer beforehand, so he's not in.
Yeah, I know the answer before you guys even started talking about it, because don't forget I ripped both their backstories with them,
Oh no.
so I really
So,
can't.
okay, is there anybody? I know Michael, Matt, you were like no. Liam's like no. Adam, Carl, support me.
No, none of us.
This is
No,
D&D.
okay.
This is D&D.
Fine, never mind. It's fine. It's fine.
But
So anyway, after we had
with
a
the
little
introduction
bit
of Gustav, with the offering of drugs and stuff, Argyle was getting nervous and accidentally cut out one of the runes, which basically the warding that was keeping a lot of the fungal creatures out was suddenly no longer there, and the ground
Is that-
started to
that,
rumble.
it's when the
Cliff
two,
that I made.
The what?
Is that what Clifford made to keep the vines
Yes.
yes, the ghosts were there.
He
And-
scratched it through. He was nervous because that was it. Kat asked if he was interested in her. Then he freaked out and cut through the runes. That's another sign. Like this is coming as well from the runes.
She was a crazy, unstable wood lady.
Involved.
But
She's high on drugs and can cast magic.
and has bugs in her hair, according to Argyle.
Yeah, I mean, you all think that Cass and Evan are married. Like, how do you not see this? But you think that there's something there. Like, I don't get it.
You do share a room.
Oh yeah, that makes all the difference. You can share a room
You
and not
know
be chapter.
yeah, half the time. I'm sorry. Are you doing things in there that we should know about?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Boomer thinks,
Going down.
If you are, mate, go for it. I think he is well in.
We're doing
yeah,
voodoo
Boomer
there.
thinks you two are brother and sister.
Yeah, I don't get that. Like, why is their brother and sister?
Shut down. Okay. Yeah, I don't see that.
No, well, like I say, I can tell where they're both coming from with the thoughts process. I know it's
Oh
not.
yeah, so before the campaign, for those who are watching, me and Michael actually had a discussion about this very specific thing about Cass and Evan's relationship and how people were going to interpret it. We found it funny, and we're not dissuading them from any reason. What they might think is what they might think. They haven't asked them; they're just assuming.
But yeah,
And what
so
happens when you assume?
you make an ass out of you
you
and
and me.
me. Yay!
Exactly right.
But
She
back
got
back
right.
back to the destroyed runes and the rumbling in the ground, and shit got real when two fungal infested remorazes, one adult, one not adult, bust out of the ground. The only stat change with these was I did nerf the damage on the adult remoraz down a damage dice. It was still the same amount, but instead of D10s, I think it was D8s. And the
No,
young
I
one.
think you halved the number as well.
Oh, was it-
You've halved the number.
Was it the number? Because I know the young one I didn't change. And
Yeah, so
Gustav
you
was
changed, you changed the number.
yeah,
Yeah, because me and Michael are both going.
Right.
He's trying to kill us. What is he doing? Yeah.
yeah, you got because these players have come to learn, like you guys have come to learn that I tweak with stats all the time.
Yeah,
so
we know.
really, it's hard to ever expect. Like when you see something, it's probably not what you expect because I've probably fucked with the stats up or down in some way. But yeah,
I know, we know what to expect. No. Sorry.
Right, Danny, continue.
But yeah, Gustav, the treant that was summoned by Clarissa, was impaled and broken and destroyed in half. The tent and her pretty much livelihood was destroyed as well in two big explosions of earth and chittery fungus creatures.
I do have a question about that.
Yeah.
The runes. What spell were they?
It was a homebrew thing.
Yeah, it's just ritual kind
Yeah.
of magics.
It
rather
was
than-
a
Like,
homebrew.
is it something we
It was a
can
home.
learn?
It's more than likely something you can learn. If you can ever get your hands on Clarissa, if you ever get the chance to talk to Clarissa again, I'm sure you can ask where she learns it. That's if you can.
Sure,
That's
yeah,
that's
you
if
want
you
to.
can ever speak to her again.
Well, we can, but we shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
My
no,
mistake.
it's. I don't ever input something into the game that is impossible to you guys to get. You can certainly find it and learn it, but
Because at the time I was like, is this a glyph of warding or something like that?
No.
And that's where I was kind of gauging things.
no, it
Which
was
is
something
completely
homebrew,
fine,
because the only out of character thing that in character you would know as well is you know that they were both a part of a learning institute in Havelter under the teacher Wojciech. That's possibly a lead. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. Well, no, the only reason I asked is because, so I was sitting there thinking, because obviously with Cass's backstory and everything, is this a part of the world? Is this something that she would have learned? Is it something we could learn? Because I was a bit like, I don't know if anybody else was the same, but it seems a bit weird, and I don't know if this is Clarissa, to put something on easily destroyed material, like wood. If it is that one goes down and it means that you are vulnerable. Like, what's not to say it is wood? They could have just set fire to it.
Yeah, but
The thing is, it
the thing
blocked
is,
any.
was fighting against nature. The idea is it
I
was
mean, no, I
stopping
get
nature.
completely. But this is it. They were so. From my point of view, if it is that they were like, oh, we can't go into this area. There's like this force field because between the stumps because of the magic, right?
I'm
What's not to
presuming
say
that I'm
they don't-
presuming the stumps were inside the field.
Yes, they were.
See, that's a different story. Because
Basically-
I was sitting there thinking, why did
No,
they
no.
send one of the
No.
humans in to destroy it?
The way it worked
Do you know what I mean?
was
The ones that
basically
did protect.
the force field protected and didn't allow anything that carried that fungus specifically from entering. The force field extended further than where the tree stump was by a few hundred feet. So it basically created a force field around.
That's it, because I was sitting there thinking, why didn't they just... So, my DM brain was running,
Yeah.
and I was thinking, oh, what I would have done if I was the monster is I would have sent in one of the human ones closer to it to destroy the glyph. It
Yeah.
makes complete sense. Because it's beyond that limit and you can't do it.
Anything
Yeah.
that carried any level of that fungus would not be allowed in. Which also would have begged the question, if any of you would have got infected, you would not have been allowed in that camp.
It's right, we didn't get infected.
No,
we had
no,
a
that's-
paladin
that's-
that's able to destroy diseases.
No, that's the exact thing. But no, any amount that was inside you, that you would then be barred for entry.
Like I say, paladins are the best.
But yeah, like you fought these creatures, and after beating them, after they did a number on Evan and not much else because they were slowed and incapacitated in ways that was pretty good. You guys fled south and ended up. Well, Evan and Clarissa ended up falling through the roof of a shallow rock piece in a cave. Clarissa ended up landing on top of Evan and kneeing him in the nuts, you know, the standard stuff.
Yeah, sometimes.
But you took that extra damage to prevent Clarissa from taking damage because you kind of like grabbed her and protected her, which was nice. It was knightly of you.
Yeah.
And
Think-
Argyle, I think it was it Argyle who did the
I
stone.
missed that. I missed Michael, what was that?
I'm just realizing another thing that's happened and a trend that's accidentally happening with Evan now.
What, you getting beat
About
the
being
fuck up?
in the nuts. Yeah.
No. No. Evan always seems to be the one that's getting close with the girls that are in relationships or being sought for relationships.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
so funny as well what we discussed pre-campaign about Evan and Gav. It's so
I thought
funny.
we would have done, yeah. I just found that funny when you reminded me of that. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you guys ended up falling through. Argyle's
Yep.
stone shaped and made a staircase down into this large cavern system.
whilst Evan had Clarissa. I don't actually remember Clarissa getting up off
Oh
it.
no,
I
very
think
quick.
she
No,
for
she
some
very
time.
quickly got off.
She did
But-
pretty much immediately. She jumped
Oh,
up.
I don't remember.
She jumped up almost immediately in that. Oh my god, are you okay, Evan? Because she realised she just need him in the dick.
Yeah. Any of you lads, don't let Evan get near your girl.
Mr. Steal Your Girl. Doesn't even mean it. He's just got this alpha male aura that he doesn't even mean to have.
Well, I mean,
He's got
I am an Oath of Conquest paladin.
Hey. Mr. Conquest Your Girl, alright. But yeah, so
Like I say, he's got BDE. You can't. Like the girls are just attracted to that.
it's true. But you ended up resting for the evening in this place, and Argyle and Clarissa both worked together to create. Was it vine plant growth? They both cast to create a large weaved vine dome inside this cave as an extra layer of protection on top of stone shape to cover the hole you guys just broke through. You stayed the night. Most of you got high.
No, I have a question because I think the only person who actually got high was Cass. Why did nobody else?
Because I wasn't going to.
Because we were going after a deadly balls.
No,
Why would you eat
that's
mushrooms?
why didn't Greytail? I'm sorry, because I know I'm the only one who's asking questions right now. I'm going to ask the particular ones.
Well, no, actually,
did-
no,
we did.
no.
Greytail did.
Deer and Grey did because Argyle subconsciously, accidentally, in his plant growth, grew a patch of catnip.
Catnip. So we were high on catnip.
Yeah, yeah. Argyle was sweating in the corner, trying his best to resist it. Grey and Deer both succumbed to catnip.
Just
Good old cats.
Why Persephone didn't? Because Persephone obviously has been quite rebellious recently. Why didn't Persephone try to have some of the brownies?
Because she knows them drugs and saw what happens to the others.
Drugs are
And
bad.
I don't do drugs. Even Persephone doesn't. She'll drink alcohol.
Drugs are bad, okay.
Yeah, but she won't touch
Very
drugs.
bad.
Interesting.
Yeah, even Boomer didn't have it out of spite. To Cliché repaired Evans.
Yeah.
Oh,
She repaired the armor.
But yeah.
Boomer was so mad.
But yeah, I'm gonna let you guys on the day after. I'll let you guys control the talking of this because I want to hear your guys' thoughts. This is more for my benefit as well. The traversement through the caves and all this bit that's coming up.
Yeah. So next morning we woke up, breakfast and everything. Went into the tunnels. Was it bats? Yes, it was swarms of bats, which we fought against those. We
Yeah,
then
Clarissa started showing the fact that she was more interested in animals than us as a party.
Yep.
I don't know if anyone else got that. Like, I was like, they're attacking us. Why are you trying to tell us off for killing them? Like, don't know if anyone else had that same experience, but she was like, what?
Well, we already knew she was kind of hippie.
Yeah, but
Yeah, well, you it was at this point you were starting to realise that Argyle was druidic in nature, but acted very scholarly and prim and proper, and Clarissa was a cleric, but acted very nature-esque and druidic in nature. They were both opposites and yet similar to each other.
it was also at this point that Cass started to think maybe one of the two would be her replacement.
was a possibility.
But that's it. So we fought the bats, and then I think after the bats, Cass fell through a wall.
Yeah,
If I remember rightly.
Yeah, because you were blind.
You couldn't see because we were in the dark, and as you were hugging the wall, you touched you basically fell through the illusion.
Yeah.
So you did that. We ended up finding out the illusion. Ended up solving the puzzle on the inside of that, which was the 4 gargoyles, I think it was, something like that.
It was saints.
Statues.
Yeah.
Four words on statues.
Yeah. Got that. Then we got the corridor beyond that, which was we had to find the right. Right steps. So we did that. You got to the far end, got through the door, and we saw it. We saw the door close and the thing crush. You'd got free. we open the door again, step through. We managed to bypass that puzzle very nicely. Downstairs into the Temple of Mistra.
Library.
The Temple of Mistra and its library.
I love
Wait.
that library.
We stole all the books.
So you got the whole library pretty
Yeah,
much.
you did.
We've got the whole library in the bag of holding.
Oh yeah, I think I have a very expensive book in my possession.
You have a
very,
few.
very
We have a lot of lost first edition books.
Yeah, because you've also got to consider printing presses and things of a similar nature haven't been invented yet, so all books are hand scribed. Not to mention that some of the books you have are of particular importance and magnitude and rarity.
Yeah,
We need to find a
we still
buyer.
need to go through them.
So we have about
Yeah.
there's about 80 books in that bag of holding, and then we ended up finding the big mushroom fella, and we ended up finding
The wizard.
wizard, which
Who
Evan.
immediately started to attack us.
No, you guys
he didn't.
attacked
The
him.
the second
He didn't get a
second
chance.
he came
No,
storming
no,
out of the
what I
room.
mean is he called in reinforcements, not that he attacked us.
No. He was having an argument with the Myconid, and as he
Which
comes storming out to have another go at the Myconid, you blindsided him. Like he didn't
Oh, yeah, I
even
know.
know you guys were there.
No, I tackled him
And
immediately.
gorillas.
Yep, the
The
gorillas.
gorillas.
Yes, the summoned gorillas. We pinned him down, tied him up, gagged him, and he summoned the flesh golems at that
Golems.
point.
Yeah.
Which
And then we proceeded to put every condition on them that we could.
That fight,
Oh, yeah.
that fight was a mind melt for me.
They were like, you can't come and get us. We are going to prepare.
Yeah.
Well, that's a
Where-
Billy,
there was-
Billy and William were in a bit of bother.
I think that was a very tactically well done fight from our point of
Yeah.
view. Like, I don't know about you guys, but we had, I think there was Web, there was Grease, there was
Web, Reed,
the Thorn.
Wall of Thorns or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, erupted
They're
Earth,
up to Earth and Earth. Yeah, so those were the 4 conditions. We basically made it
and then
almost impossible for them to move.
wasn't the
They were
Greeks
doing
then
like
set on
5
fire?
feet.
The Grease was then set
Yeah.
on fire when they got
Oh,
in.
yeah.
Yeah.
But we got them pinned for ages. It took them about 5 rounds to get to us.
Set the channel through that
Yeah, because
doorway as well.
I've just pulled it up. It was three fresh golems. You had William.
Fresh golems.
Yeah.
Fresh golems.
Not fresh.
How fresh?
Very actually, but yeah, you had William, which was an armored flesh golem, and then 2 standard ones, which was Dussel and Valgruf.
Didn't know their names. But
We did-
as they started
we knew
moving
William.
through, I think we
I'd say meat
I remember
sets 1, 2,
William.
and 3.
Yeah. And I remember when they finally broke through, and we were all like, "How did they manage to get through that?" That was, I think it's because we weren't doing damage to them before they got through. We just had enough time to prepare. Like, I know I dropped down Beacon of Hope, and what was the other spell I had up? What was it called? Spiritual Guardians. I think everyone was getting prepared with actions. The cannon was scaling the wall, so he could set the grease on fire.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did short work of those golems.
Short work and extended fight, but short
Yeah,
work.
it was a very long fight, but very well done tactically.
But
I mean,
we ended...
technically, it was only 36 seconds, if I remember rightly, so not very long at all.
No, but long as in like
it was a
our
lot
time.
too.
For us, it
Oh.
took most of us. It took an entire session.
Well, this is it, and also, like, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but most combat encounters don't last more than 5 rounds.
5
I
rounds
don't know
at
if
the
it's
most.
my experience. Yeah, I mean, that I have now been proven wrong in multiple campaigns about that, but, you know, it was the first fight where, I don't know about you guys, but I felt like we were tactically at an advantage over the enemy.
Oh fuck yeah, you guys did. Mwah. It, like I said, it was a pain for me to keep track of, and it took ages to get through it. Even though in character it was not very long at all, but by God, it was very well done. Given the difficulty of what that fight should have been, you guys did fantastic.
Well, this is why you now have our AC and DC. Well, you
DC
thought
and
you
Q.
did, and then we found out that people don't
won't
update
build.
World 20.
Yeah, certain people don't.
Sorry.
It was Liam,
you.
because it was Liam, because I went, oh, okay, I roll this, okay, I succeed the save, and Liam was like, wait, no you don't, and I'm like, yeah, I do, I'm looking at your sheet right now. And, yeah, dick.
Yeah.
The biggies there.
But yeah, you were all surprised as well, the fact that Lundvik went like, I know, Michael, you were specifically surprised that he was like, you did like 7 damage, and Lundvik went night-night.
More specifically, I did enough damage to knock. I did specifically non-lethal damage, and somehow he was still dying.
Magic.
Like somebody
Wait a minute, who
decided
was
to.
that on? Oh, the wizard guy.
Yeah, I specifically tried to. I did non-lethal damage, and he nearly died.
But yeah, I do have a question on that. I don't know if this is something you can go into detail, Danny.
Yeah.
Why did he have so little hit points?
Because he was a very low-level caster. He was like level 2 wizard.
Aww.
Really?
Yeah, really. The whole point was the fight was meant to be you versus the flesh golems while he ran and hid. That was the tactics of the fight, because he's not a strong boy at all. He was
See, I assumed that he must be powerful because they made him look after the Temple of Mystra and all those books.
Yeah.
he was just there at the time. But yeah,
He was just the intern.
Pretty much, yeah. But the main section of the fight was meant to be you guys versus the flesh golems. He was meant to take sanctuary in that bedroom.
But he was an old dude, like, right? Like, am I getting something mixed up in my head?
No,
No,
Lundvik was.
We just made the assumption.
Yeah,
that
Lundvik
he
was
part of-
middle-aged.
Yeah, we just took it to the fact that whoever would be doing this had to have some power behind them, and the second he walked out, we all just assumed, right? Well, he's it's a Temple of Mystra. He's going to be a magic caster.
Yeah, which he was.
I just took all the precautions of dealing with an even moderately powerful caster.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, he was a level 2 wizard.
Now we find out.
And also,
very,
he
very
acted like he was super powerful. Let's admit it.
Oh, no.
Some of the way
Oh no, 100%. He acted very grandiose and practically like he was the most important thing since sliced bread.
Yeah, I know that helped aid with the whole air of mystery that he got for a thing. But the fact that he was a puny weakling is. Bleh.
Yeah, basically.
Also, I think the fact that you.
Because in the notes here, I've specifically written, like, underneath the stat blocks of the golems, Dr. Lundvik doesn't have any combat abilities and will use Billy if confronted and hide himself away. He is a pure alchemist.
Okay, because you'd told me afterwards that he'd actually been. You told me afterwards when thinking he'd been faking being unconscious the entire time.
No, you found that out in character, but that was when you thought he'd basically woken up from unconsciousness, because you're talking about, because you guys were talking with Deeper about a good 2 hours had passed, I think, at that point.
No, what about 5 minutes had passed?
Oh, it wasn't that. Oh, was it?
No, it's about 5 minutes. You just decided he needed to be part of it at that point.
I don't know. I can't.
It's all right.
But yeah, like in my notes, like I said, like you just heard me read that out. Like, no, he was not designed to be combat capable. He was meant to be high. That also added to the amazingness of the way you cut him off from his only defense matrix.
Yep.
The only source of defense he had, and you cut him off. It was perfect.
Yeah, magic caster in the Temple of Mystra. I'm sorry, but I'm going to, at that point, I think anybody would assume that he's the guy we're
I'm not blaming you. Like, it's better to over prepare. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's it. That guy could have escaped and called in his friends, and then all of a sudden we've got 10 magic users we've got to fight. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just assuming that this big, powerful magic user people are actually higher than what they are. I'm starting to get that impression. I don't know if anybody else is.
Oh, it's not going to be the case because there's going to be more powerful things. But
because the other magic one, the big super lady, I can't remember her name. I do apologise.
Solace Stranzia.
Yeah, Stranzia. I thought she was a much higher level than what I'm now thinking she is. I thought she teleported on board the ship, but it turns out that she was just floating nearby. But that's for a little bit later on, anyway. So.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But no, no, like I say, that's. I think though that's the perfect little thing that Danny did there is because the fact that we bought into the air of mystery.
Yeah,
of him
you
going,
did.
like,
Which is
we bought in, Yeah.
exactly what I wanted.
yeah, we bought into the fact that he was a lot more powerful than he was. So we ended up killing off all of the things, and then it was interrogation o'clock,
Yeah.
which for some
Got a bit
reason
scary.
it was fine.
You kept slamming his head into the floor.
Oh no, I'd already that was before the interrogation.
Yeah, that was how he
Yeah.
made him unconscious, because basically
Yeah.
he's doing D4 plus, no, 1 plus strength damage.
Yeah, that was
before.
just saying hello. The interrogation was involved Moles and Kneecap.
Yeah, but that didn't happen yet. We first started by other means, which was, I think, Cass doing the detect thoughts to have a chat with him.
Yeah, because you didn't
And
want...
just-
Because,
Yeah,
again,
test it out.
and rightly so, you guys being cautious, you didn't want him to have the ability to do verbal
Speak.
components because of spells.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys remained him gagged. He was being pedantic and refusing to talk, and you used detect thoughts to communicate with him, which, granted, you can only do for 3 minutes total. Still.
We had a small conversation with him, broken
And he
kneecap.
was still being...
Yep, and
It,
somehow
despite being very... Like, this is another thing I don't get, right? So, if you are that low of a cast... Because now, obviously, we know a little bit more. Like, why wouldn't he reveal his information? Like, if you have been threatened with your life,
because
and
he
you're
was-
very
No,
low level, why would you...
He's kind of part of a
Yeah.
cult.
Yeah, but part of a cult and everything else, we haven't pushed the right buttons on it. So
Didn't ask the right
And we
question.
pushed another button.
no, that's the
His
thing.
kneecap was not a button. I don't want to... I just want to push that out there. That's not the button.
It's more like a
I
switch,
love
really.
that as well. I will specify I love it as well because Persephone at that point had been like, we can't torture him, and then I think
No, Persephone... No.
Persephone had been like, let me torture him, and we went,
yeah,
no.
they were like,
And then
And then
Evan
tortured
did it. Yeah, that was quite ironic.
yeah, but there's a difference between Persephone and Evan. Like, Evan is a grown adult man. Persephone is a child, and you can't teach me any different. Because I know we've had this conversation many times about Persephone being a very young elf. Technically, she looks like a human, but mentally, she is not. It's actually in D&D lore, unless something's changed. So
No,
I did
you're
have a
right. You're
question.
100% right. Elves
she's-
aren't... Elves technically are classed as mentally adults at like 100.
Yeah.
Physically, they age the
physically.
exact same rate as humans.
They are age 16. They are in body adults.
But elven society doesn't class them as mental adults until about 100. About.
Yeah, also, I want to specify this: elves, so themselves, don't actually age when they reach like their 20s. I think
Yes,
they just kind of like look
They're
20s
yeah.
the rest of their lives.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. They once they hit about mid-20s, they stop physically aging. Obviously, mental development and all that's completely different. But yeah, elven society, anything from 80 to 110 is at that point, depending on what society you're dealing with, is when an elf is considered adult mentally.
Well, this is it, and I think the last thing that happens, so when they get old, is the half moons.
In the eyes, yeah.
Because it's mentioned a couple of times. So I do have a question though to Carl. Did you intend for Persephone to be so young, or was it just that? Because this has happened a few times where people have accidentally got elf age mix-ups.
I wanted to be young, but I didn't realise that bit. So, yes, it was an accident.
But to be fair though, since you've kind of found out, Carl, you've took it in good stride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me. It just means I'll get a bit more fun with it. Yeah, a bit more fun.
See, I like that you were like, yeah, why not? Let's do it, and kind of lent into the crazy.
Because now I get to be a complete utter teenager and have teenage strops. Why not?
Well, technically, you're a toddler.
Yeah,
If
but
we're
I'm gonna have teenage toddler strop.
Well, this is it. But this is why I think why Casanova tried to shut Persephone out in that point of view, because if Persephone was an adult elf, I don't think Cass would have a much problem with her being involved in it, but she's a child, so I think that's why it was Evan, yes, you can do this, not Persephone. Does that make sense? It's like saying you know, you don't have child soldiers kind of deal, if that makes sense.
And that was the case. We're very bad on that regard then.
Yeah,
We've had 2 child soldiers in our group.
Yeah, with Cravala and now Persephone.
Cass isn't happy about it. Let's just say that. She does not like it, but she's trying to be...
It's only for the flavour, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the group, Dom.
Yeah, I was about to say, in the case of Evan in this, yeah, my main thing is, Persephone being a young elf was the secondary thing to the fact that Persephone is unskilled in doing this.
Oh!
It was basically, if we're going to do an interrogation, I don't want Persephone to go, oh, I stabbed him in the leg. Oops, shit, that was an artery, he's dead.
Yeah.
It makes sense because of Adam as well in that story.
Yeah, I was about to say, I know more about about how to do that in the situation, and that was not the time for a training exercise.
Yeah.
I will point out as well, this is one of my favourite moments of this campaign, was when Carissa was kicking off at Cass and Evan. I think this was the first time that they gelled properly since the beginning of the campaign, because we'd had like a few cross wires and a bit of a mix-up. You know, things are different for them now, and it was just that one moment of we never said we were heroes. That were, it was so good. Like, it was just like, oh, mind meld, because me and Michael didn't plan that at all. It just came from somewhere unmatched. Like, twin speak, eh?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what do you think, Michael, from your point of view?
Oh no, it was very much the same thing of just like, well, you know, Evan was always going to be that kind of person who's just like, I didn't say I was a hero. And for you to just say at the exact same moment, we never said we were, I was like, no, that makes perfect sense for them. And also that was awesome that we got that synced.
Yeah, they finally synced up and they were like, ooh,
we've had
what we were missing.
We've had a few moments where we were synced, and then I think whenever combat came around or something like that, we were in sync. It was when it came RP, basically when it became more the day-to-day things, we were starting to split apart because of our circumstances, which is a lot of fun. That we were like, oh, with this is happening and that, but the second it was like, oh, we both need to work together, it's like, well-oiled machine.
Which kind of made sense for it, because obviously we don't want to go too into detail because of spoilers and all that kind of stuff. But
so, we had...
There's reasons behind it that you'll find out at a later date, my friends.
So we did that. We then managed to free the Myconid.
Yeah.
And we tried to take them back to town.
Yeah, the problem was the Myconid has sunlight sensitivity and it was daylight at the time.
And nobody could be asked to go and cut down some, like, tree branches and stuff for us to make some sort of, like, travelling little pagoda or something.
Yeah.
Well, why didn't you suggest that?
I did! Everybody ignored me and said, let's leave him here till dark.
Alright, I'll rewatch and just make sure.
Why I'm so annoyed is the fact that I suggested these things. I suggested methods to get him out of there, and everybody went, well, it's light and we can't move him, so you stay here then.
Yeah, what it was, Clarissa and Argyle were going to wait with him until dark. You guys take the wizard and go and deal with that part, and then they would bring him in dark. You guys were going to find like a place you could shack him up near town or something.
Yeah.
And
I am really sorry, Michael. I don't remember that because obviously we didn't choose that option. So, sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. Like I say, there's other things I regret about that situation, which was not destroying the teleportation circle in the temple.
Yeah.
That's been bugging me ever since.
Yep.
It was like, why didn't we destroy that?
I was going to say, you guys knew what it was. You found out about it, but you did nothing about it.
I looked at it and thought, should we? And then it was like, we we should be fine.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, and then with what happened of.
As soon as she appeared, I was like, "Oh, we didn't destroy the circle."
No.
It went
Same
straight
thing.
through my head. Yeah.
Yep, same thing. It's just like, oh, bollocks, we forgot that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Solastranzia,
Another
the
plunger
person
of the
you've
plunger.
mentioned multiple times, used the magic circle, cast magic. Is it teleportation circle? The name of the spell, or is it magic circle?
Well, she used teleportation circle if she did it on this plane.
Yeah,
If
she was.
the plane shifted.
No.
Then
She did. I forget if it's teleportation circle, but that spell that teleports to the circle.
Oh, teleportation circle. It's the one
Is
that
that-
has teleporting.
That's the
Danny.
one. That's the.
Yeah.
I forget the name of it because I know there's two. There's both are spells, but I
Yeah,
forget
but
which one's the
If
right
you're
one.
teleporting somewhere, the one with teleporting it is probably the one where she will use teleport.
All right, fucker. Shut up.
also, that means we now know that.
There's another location.
Oh no, not that. It's more on the lines of the fact is we now know that Solastranza has at least 5th level spells.
At least 9th level.
No, 5th.
No, at least she's 9th level.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you meant character level, not spell level. Yeah.
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 But yeah.
Well, that's it, because I know later on she uses Major Image, doesn't she? Which
Yes.
is another
Third.
5th
Yes.
level?
No,
Is that
third.
Third, sorry.
I believe Major Image is a 3rd.
Also out of
I don't
character,
think
you
know
also,
anything
you
about
also know as well though, out of character, they have access to pretty much every spell in the book.
Oh yeah, they have. Well, yeah, they are an arcane user. So she's gonna have access.
meant to come back, these guys. Well, I'll come to that at another
Yeah.
stage. We'll create a fight chat without Danny involved in Habitat.
But yeah,
Easy
so
to take down mages.
Deeproot got a natural 1 on his stealth check when they were trying to leave, with a -1, which made it 0. The other two did stealth very well and wasn't seen, but Solastranzia, when came to kind of see what the fuck, found Deeproot, started a bit of a bad bitch monologue and started like, and I gave the two of them the choice of what to do. They chose the hero's route and tried to fight in protection of Deeproot rather than trying to flee. One wouldn't go without the other for fear of being shown up or whatever other reason it
That
may
was
have
a
been.
bit of a mistake, right?
I mean, they were
I
playing
get it. It's
They
heroic.
obviously they didn't specify their reasons, so it's kind of up to interpretation why they did or didn't. And we kind of faded to black on that combat because given the level of the guests and what equipment and level Sola was, we agreed as the NPC guests that the fight would very quickly, especially considering they were weakened spell slot wise as well. The fight didn't go well. Deeproot was killed. Clarissa and Argyle were captured.
And as the saying goes, cemetery's full of dead heroes.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Like, I'm sorry, but I get the heroic point of view and doing that, but there is a difference between being heroic and being a martyr. That was being a
no, that's it. No, there's being a
Flying for the
hero and
cause.
being an idiot.
Yeah. Like, you can be a self-preservation hero. But, like Danny said, they're not here, so they can't comment on it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's very sweet. And
It's up
for the
to
story.
interpretation at this point. Obviously, I'm sure if we ever get the chance, you can always ask them for what they.
Oh, don't you worry. What time are we on, Danny?
58 minutes actually, so I think we'll leave that episode here.
Sorry, I noticed.
Oh
this
yeah,
one.
no, good, cool. But yeah,
We went,
unfortunately, leaving it on a bit of a sour note as
Mwah.
yeah.
It's right. It's deep in the session.
But that covers us up to episode 18.
The end of episode 18, and we managed to cover the first guest arc.
Yes, because that was the introduction and the outroduction of the guests, which they did have their own session, but we won't be discussing that on the Talk in the Tale. You'll have to watch that one yourselves, guys.
They'll
Unfortunately,
need to have their own specific talking the tale.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I would watch that. I would watch it.
Oh hell
Bells
yeah!
on. I want to know why they did certain things, like putting the satyr in his mouth. I still don't get that. I still don't get it.
Save that for their own chat.
Yeah, well, I'll message them both and I'll see if they're up for it. We'll get them on.
Oh yeah,
But
I hope so.
In the meantime,
yeah, so the next, because like I said, as this has been going, we're doing Wednesdays with this upload. So yeah, expect the next session a Wednesday. Unless you're watching in the past, then go watch the next one already, I guess. Why are you still here? Bye.
Happy Wednesday.
Bye.
see you for episode whatever Danny calls it.
Yay.
So 9.